into this weekend was inspiring and really cool. My son called me yesterday and he's like, "Hey, I just saw Ridge Lovett." I was like, "Oh, where's he at?" He's like, "He's down in the academic area, you know." So you forget when you watch them excel at that level, they're also students and they're great men, and proud to be associated with them. That was really inspiring. With that, let's see what questions you guys have.
What were you looking for in these first 2 days? I mean, as the head coach, what are you looking for?
Yeah, so the first 2 days, the rules are of our 15 practices, 3 have to be in helmets. The first 2 have to be in helmets. We think it's really important to give them Easter Saturday off, and so that's the only time. That's why we go on a Monday. Coming off spring break, it's not ideal to take a week off and then start practice. So I was looking for guys to have come back in shape, so that we didn't have any pulls or anything like that. And I really think of these first 2 days really as classroom instruction on the grass. A ton of teaching, a ton of installation. The guys, as I told them, there is no depth chart right now. There is no, oh, this is your role. It's not the coach's job right now to figure out who's going to play and who's not going to play. It's our job to figure out who can play. It's a big difference. I'll say that one more time. Job's not to figure out who is going to play. It's really who can play. And you're trying to teach guys and see what they can do. And so asking our players to just focus on their effort and their execution. We're trying to set a standard for those things the first 2 days in football. So I think it's been really good. We went 1 day inside, 1 day outside. Obviously, we're practice fields are torn up right now, so there's some limitations, but we're blessed with elite facilities, and we're able to get out there and get some work in.
How does the large number of players who are new to the program, both freshmen and transfers, impact the way that you get into this spring and what you look to accomplish?
I haven't really felt a ton of like, oh wow, there's a lot of guys who don't really get what we're doing. I think the veteran leadership is so pronounced. They kind of know what to do, and so the guys have just kind of come in and dug right into the rhythm of it. I think we have a lot of new staff, and so that I sometimes maybe feel that maybe a little bit more, but we just want to get everyone out there, like I said, and just really teach them the scheme, but really also the standards that we want to have in terms of how hard we expect the guys to play and the execution that we're expecting from them. And I think everyone's taken advantage of that, and I think we've done a good job of, as the rules allowed, including football in the off season more than we ever have, so that we can get to here and it not be we're starting football. We've immersed within the training periods and the mat drill periods and all that. We've immersed a lot of football. So I think the guys are more prepared than ever. So I haven't really felt, honestly, Mitch, what you'd think with the numbers. I haven't really felt like, wow, there's just a ton of new guys out here. It feels kind of seamless, which is a good thing.
I know it's really early, but have you seen, because of the football stuff you've done prior to spring, the QBs and wide receivers be able to gel well at this point? Or can you even tell that?
Yeah, I think we're just in we're in a teaching phase. There's so much work that has to be done, and Dana is very demanding with what he wants in the passing game, and so I don't foresee him feeling very excited anytime soon. He's like I said, he's done something. He's done this for a long time, and he knows exactly what he wants, and so. We sat there and watched as a staff yesterday the one-on-ones, and I learned so much just listening to him talk, and so it was great. They've put a lot of work in, but right now it's just kind of, like I said, it's a different phase, more coordinated stuff. And Thursday we'll put the pads on, we'll change a little bit more.
Hey, Coach, are there any guys that will make position switches this spring or experimenting with new positions for you guys?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I can't think of anyone specifically. Rowdy Bauer, we moved him to safety. I think Rowdy's got a chance to play here, so I wanted to, he did a really nice job as scout team running back, really good athlete, but moved him over to defense, because you obviously play more safeties than you play running backs probably. I'd feel really bad if there's someone obvious that I'm missing, so I don't mean to be disrespectful. I just can't think of anyone's, Yeah, Jaden's playing receiver, yeah. Jaden's playing receiver.
Hofkin's still a D-line.
You talked about spring being a time for experimenting with position changes or scheme changes, is there more of that because of the staff turnover and so many new coaches, or is there less of that as they get to know the guys a little bit?
Well, as it pertains to scheme, our offense pretty much looks like what it looked like in the bowl game. I think Dana kind of sat down and while we were out recruiting, really kind of looked at like what are the best things that we do and what are the things that we really believe in, and we've kind of like focused in on those things. Defensively, I think we're looking at, hey, who are the best players and how do we get them on the field. We also are trying to do a nice job of just teaching a couple base fundamental defenses that we can go to no matter what. So we're probably simplified a little bit defensively right now. And then obviously X bringing in a new special team system. So every day there's something new there, in terms of the way that we're teaching it. In terms of position changes, like as we go, we're always gonna if we think a guy has a chance to be if a guy has a chance to be a better player at another position, then we'll talk to them about it. It's getting harder and harder and harder sometimes to get guys to do that. It's funny. I was talking to Heinrich's father out there at practice, and the decision he's made, to stay here and change positions. I was even saying this earlier. Not as many people want to do that anymore, and it's not that, hey, you can't play position X. It's just we think you'd be better at position Y, and so that's it's kind of the thought process when we do it, and for guys who give it a shot, But I don't see a ton of that right now. I think we've got a lot of guys in the right positions.
Seeing at Pro Day real quick, Dylan out there, looks like he's maybe already met some of the objectives that you laid out.
Yeah, I felt really bad. I mean, I thought it was really poor on some people's parts. Like, if you went back and listened to what I said he knows he can't be 240. I didn't say he was 240. so people ran with that, and it's unfortunate, right? I mean, I'm very marked with how I say things. I say things a specific way, and all I said was he knows he can't be something. But he already was. I mean, he's done a really nice job with his body, and he's continuing to do that. He's a big man. He's gonna be a big man. You know why? When I was growing up early in football, you wanted a big quarterback because they stay healthy, they're durable, they don't get pulled down in the pocket, they don't get knocked down. He's got big hands. He'll be able to throw in all types of weather. He'll be able to throw. So I think his size is. He's never going to be X, but he's been really focused this offseason on, hey, I'm going to get myself to the right weight, get myself down to where I want to be. And I think, as you said, I think you can already see it. But, I always feel bad when there's enough ire out there. When I bring that to somebody with something I said, but I think I was pretty specific in that he just knows what he doesn't want to be. Doesn't mean he's that. And, he's I don't know, is he 19? 19? He's 19 years old. He's a very, very focused young man. So he's working at it. I think he'll be really good. And the fact that we had to move the pro day schedule around so he could throw for our guys because it's important that they have someone throwing to them that they know, and then he has to get to class. So kind of move some things around. Appreciate the scouts, but yeah, he's had a good off season and he's looked really good in practice so far.
With Ty having such a dominant combine, and he's here today, he's not testing, doesn't look like, but what does that say about him that he's here supporting the rest of his teammates after he did what he needed to do?
Well, and I think he's going to do drills. I think there's some coaches here to do drills, but Ty was back the next day. I mean, like he's back 2 days later. Where a lot of guys would probably go back to Arizona or someplace and train. He's here. He's in the training table. I think it speaks a lot to our facilities. I think it speaks a lot to the people that we have here. That him and Fedoni went to the combine and they came right back here, and they're eating upstairs in the training table. They're lifting in here. But Ty's a great teammate. He's going to be out there to support the fellas. I mean, and we have, like I said, we have some. I mean, he would be here for Nash alone, let alone everybody else. So, like I said, we have some guys that didn't go to the combine that I thought should go to the combine, and I think will be good players.
Deion Sanders has put out there the possibility of playing or practicing with another team in the spring. How would you feel about that? Are you in favor of something like that?
I think if they ever passed something like that, then I would do it. But I think it's like I think the possibility of that is so remote. That it's if they did it, I would look at it. But otherwise, it'd be just me surmising about something I don't think probably will happen. But if they did, I certainly would look at it. But
Idea why that couldn't happen?
I just think it's just outside the current playing rules. I just think it would take maybe it'll happen. Shoot, who knows? I have no idea. It's just so far out there. Like, I remember being in a meeting at one point, and we were talking about the Big Ten. Like, instead of playing 1 versus 2, I think Coach Harbaugh, someone brought up, well, 1's already won. Why don't we play 2 versus 3? And there were so many rules around who can play when and all that it just seemed like it was a non-starter. So I don't know. I mean, if anybody can do it, Coach Sanders can. And I know Fran jumped in there, and Fran's someone that I've known a long time. If anybody can get it done, they will. But if that happened, though, I would certainly look into all that has to offer.
You did joint practices with another team when you were in Carolina, didn't you?
Yeah, not the first year was COVID, but we did it the second year. We did it with the Ravens and the Colts, and then my third year we did it with the Patriots. So I think there's a lot of value at that level to a joint practice, because guys have a chance to see a different scheme and see some different players, and you can really evaluate some guys. So
A lot of second and third year defensive backs that I know you think have a lot of potential. How excited are you to see how they can maybe push the competition and just feed off each other?
yeah, we got a lot of guys who are big, fast, explosive that we've recruited. Now we've had to develop, and I think Addison's a great secondary coach. I think he'll do a great job with those guys. I think Snow got here right away, and he's like, "Man, you guys got a lot of fast, long, athletic guys in the secondary." And I said, "Yeah, who can run?" I said, "Yeah, So some of those guys, they just have to make the most of their opportunities, and they're going to get them. So I think it's a really exciting time. We have some guys who played a lot of football back there, but we also have a lot of other guys that I know can play, and so this is their opportunity. This is their time.
How much do things change this spring with the rev share, the roster limits, as far as the volume of recruits you might bring in and out over the spring? Does it change at all for you and kind of your approach of courting and offering guys with number restrictions and some of the things you're going to be facing?
Yeah, I think it's going to be, I think the hardest thing right now is I still don't know what the rules are, the parameters around the rev share. So, if you're a coach who doesn't care about saying something and then having to go back on it, it's really a great time. You can promise someone $700,000 and then, pay them $50 and say, "Oh, if you were like, man, I really don't want to say something I can't follow up on." It's a hard time to make a lot of promises when you don't know, is third-party NIL really going to be gone? Is it going to be around? Is rev share going to happen? So I just think it's a time of great uncertainty, but also looks like there might be some certainty. I think I've never felt more like third-party NIL might be limited than I do now. I've always kind of I don't know about that. I think there's a chance of it happening, so I'm preparing for that. Whereas before it was like offer, take, recruit. Now it's what's the value? How much you want to pay for this and this player and this position, and so but there's so many unknowns. So I think it limits maybe hey, how many players are you going to take? The 105, how that all plays out is going to be interesting too. So we are, I think, probably just being very measured right now, trying to figure out, how exactly this goes. And with the knowledge of, most kids, commit after the, June visits. Even if they've committed now, some kids commit and then they're still going to take 5 visits. I mean, it's just a different world. So we're prepared to, have great June visits, and then we're prepared to recruit all the way up until signing day and be as aggressive as anybody in the country. It's just right now we're just making sure they're the right people because there's a different value associated now. Now it's no longer just a scholarship. It's, hey, what are we willing to do beyond that? And that's, there's a lot of schools that have benefited from unlimited bank accounts. If this is limited, then it changes everything. So, as I said to everybody the other day, if every team gets, let's just say in 2026, if every team gets $16 million and every kid wins $500,000, you can have how many players? And the staff, a couple guys said pretty quickly, 32. You have 32 players make money. So for every recruit that wants $500,000, there's only 32 spots of that. So, how are you going to break this up? And that's where Pat's going to be so valuable, because this is his world. His world is. There's lots of guys who can evaluate. There's lots of guys who can recruit. His world is valuation. Hey, where do we put people? And so I think we're going to be really limited in terms of how we do it. I think camps are going to have different, more value than ever, because camps, not only find out who you want, you're also finding out when you watch them live, like what's their value, early on. You're going to win. The teams that win will probably win with older players, kind of like you're seeing in basketball. But to get them in the door, you're going to have to be willing to know what you're going to recruit them for. So Ty Robinson's a much different player now than he was when we got here. So it's a fun time though to figure all this stuff out. I mean, it's a lot of the people that figure this out the best and are the smartest are going to win in the new model. You can no longer, some people might, but you can no longer just stockpile players through money, and so we'll try to do it better than anybody else.
You look at the defensive line room, right? You have a lot of younger guys who've played, right, but they haven't started, and the production hasn't necessarily, needed for them because of Nash and because of Ty. What is that challenge for guys like that who've played at the Power 5 level, but now there's the added pressure of, all right, now I got to go out, I got to be the guy, I have to be the producer.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think every player that wants to be successful just really should control the things that they can control, and that's their effort, that's their craft, their execution. They play with great, good things will happen. I tell the coaches, I really believe in letting players prove us right. Sometimes players feel like they got to prove you wrong, prove us right. I think we're going to have one of the best D lines around, and we're replacing a bunch of really good players. But we got a bunch of really good players, and it's sometimes more fun to look at it like, oh, we lost this guy, but we're bringing in this guy to replace him. But there's a reason why I recruited those guys 2 years ago. You know what I mean? So that they could have time in the weight room. I was sitting out there with Jay Foreman at practice, and he was talking about some of the guys' bodies on the O-line. He's like, look at Preston, look at Bricks, look at those guys were big recruits. We beat a lot of good people on, and they're just patiently waiting their turn. And that to me is our secret sauce here at Nebraska. Is like we have a training table, a commitment to nutrition, we have a commitment to sports science, recovery, and the weight room that allows players to get developed. And so I'm expecting Riley to go out there and be a great player. I'm expecting Keona, I'm expecting Elijah, I'm expecting, Cam, I'm expecting all those guys. They've been in the program for a couple of years. Elijah Judy got here, he was 270 some, he's now 300 pounds, right? It's his time, and they'll be great. So, Mitch, you had something else, I'm sorry.
Speak quick to the depth and just your comfort level at running back behind Emmett, just figuring out this spring what you have there.
Yeah, I think we're going to be, I have no concerns at running back. I think Quentin's, you go back, I've talked about Quentin a lot. I think Quentin's really, really talented. And I think it's just been him getting an opportunity. We were going to play Mackay last year at the end of the year in a couple games. And then I think, I forget what happened. Like, it just ended up not working out. But Mackay is dynamically fast, explosive, unbelievably competitive, has an edge to him, that I love. And, we brought in, I think Kenneth has done a great job for us. He returned the kickoff to open up the bowl game. He's a local kid that ran 10-4, and then you look at the guys we brought in, Connor, Jamarian, we'll see how they do throughout the court. I think Jamarian got here like at 175. He's already 190 some. Like, he's big and strong. So we feel really good about those guys. I don't think that's a position where we feel like, at least right now, that, hey, well, we need to go out and do something here. We got guys that we know can play. And the only reason why Quentin hasn't had a lot of production, kind of very similar to the question that was just asked, was just he hasn't had the opportunity. But he has the talent. He's 210 pounds and can run. So, but this spring's a really important time for them, right? It's a really, really important time. And the last thing I'll say about that, they all have the ability to catch the football. And the offense that we want to be moving forward, you're going to have to be able to run the football, catch the football, and pass protect. And we want to be a 50-50 balanced offense. And Quentin can really catch the football. Mackay can really catch the football. Kenneth can really catch the football. Now we'll see, the young guys, I think they can, but, they have to show me they can do it. Anything else?
Hey, you guys moved Hartzog to safety last spring, and then towards the end of the season, moving back to corner. Where's he at spring ball?
Great question. He's he's one of those. Malcolm can do it all. I think when we look at kind of the iteration of defense that we're playing right now, we think of that. I've always thought of that field safety as really truly a nickel, and I think Malcolm will be a nickel in the NFL. So, your nickel can always go outside and be like your third corner if you need it out there. But we feel really good about him in the slot. So he'll play that field safety. But really, I think of him as like a true nickel that can come down and play man on two, and you can when he's out there, you don't have to play. Oh, let's put a dime package in. You can play with him at any point. So, and then Deshaun, we've kind of been moving him around to some different spots, trying to figure out where we can best utilize his physicality and production.
That last Husker game thing, is that a practice or doesn't count as part of your 15?
It counts as part of the 15. And if we do anything with the former, if former players are interacting with our players, it has to count as one of the scrimmages, which is fine with me. So I think it's I think it has a chance to be a really fun day. We're gonna model it after the Pro Bowl. I think they're gonna put some things out this week in terms of what we're doing. But I'd love to see some Husker greats, out there performing. I honestly suggested that they should get Sipple and some of you guys out there and in front of the crowd. I'm dead serious. I want to shoot a punt and see if Sipple can catch it. And then I'm going to go online and talk about what he did right afterwards, what he did wrong. So it'd be awesome. No, but I said we should have a media team. I really believe that we should have a media. You guys should get out there, and I'd love to see a couple of you guys do some stuff. And but I want to have like some skills competitions. We're gonna do some 7-on-7 like they do in the Pro Bowl. But I think it was really fun to get some of the old, some of the greats or some of the, former players that want to be involved. And then, I know we're trying to incorporate, as you guys know, I'm very passionate about women's 7-on-7 flag football. It's an emerging sport. It's going to be an Olympic sport. It's going to be an NCAA sport. I think it should be a high school sport in every state. I got 2 daughters that want it to be, so we put a camp on last year, and I think we're gonna host a women's 7-on-7 from some athletes, intramural athletes here versus I think Midland. Hopefully it's okay that I said that. Hopefully that's going through. If it's not, I apologize, but I think we're going to do that early. And then we'll have our portion, and then obviously the soccer game's happening that day. Women's soccer is going to be playing over at Hibner, and then Coach Busboom Kelly is going to have her first match, right? Versus is it Kansas, which is they made it this year, right? So which is a really good team. So. I think it has a chance to be a fun day. I know they're going to do some other things around it, I know everybody. I trust me. I walked in last night with a social for the scouts, and the waitress, bartender, young lady, she said, "Coach Rhule, I have an issue with you." I said, "All right, what is that?" She said, "No spring game." I need, I'm like, I know, I get it. So many things that we love are going to change moving forward, but I think this has a chance to be pretty cool, and I'd love to see, Jay Foreman out there. He's at practice every day. I want to see him do some drills, and I want to see our guys compete with some drills. And the last thing I think hit me when we watched the Pro Bowl, we see all of our players. The fans always see them with their, their helmets on. Football's such an impersonal game that way, and to take the helmets off and see their faces and see all that stuff, hopefully it'll be pretty cool. So we're going to try to make it really good, and I think a bunch of teams across the country are going to do it. We'll try to do ours better than not better than anybody else, the best that we can. And then if anything changes, if they change the rules or whatever, we're willing to adapt at any moment. But right now, I think this has a chance to be a pretty cool day. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You saw this winter.
I would definitely say the Westview Millard North game was really good. That was like regular season, but the state tournament was fun to watch too, for sure.
What's this spring? What are your objectives as a veteran running back now?
Yeah, I'm still hungry. I'm still trying to be the best running back in the country. So I'm out there every day trying to improve on everything, and just being a leader and helping out the younger guys coming along, most importantly.
Dana Holgerson's offense, is there anything now that you have to focus on just a little bit different in the new offense?
Not just going out there and just it's routine plays. You know, we work on it every day in practice. So it's just getting a lot of reps at it, being consistent in it, and then just executing. He makes our jobs a lot easier as a running back. I fit his offense really well, so I'm really excited for that, and I think we've grown as a team so far.
In Dana's offense, how do you see yourself working in as a receiver on top of running the ball too?
Yeah, that's a big part of this offseason for me. You know, I don't want to just be a running back. Like, I feel like I'm a weapon on the field, and so you can line me up in the slot. I'm able to run the ball, just do whatever the team needs for us to win. You know, if it's more of a run-heavy game, I'll be able to run the ball. If it's more of a get out in space and go have a linebacker cover me, I'll be able to do that too.
How important was after the bowl game, the talks with Dana? How important was your position in his offense? You deciding to come back and
Yeah, it's extremely important. Coach Holgerson's a great guy. He has a great system, and I feel I fit really well in it. And so talking to him was big in terms of me coming back, and I'm just really excited to get it going this season.
Can you kind of go back and speak to that? I know you put out kind of a heartfelt statement back in, I think it was December, just about your commitment to this place and why you feel strongly about Nebraska. What went into that for you, and how much of it was also impacted by those conversations you had with Coach Holgerson?
Yeah, we had a lot of talks, but overall, I just led on my faith in God. And, I kept praying about it, and I knew this was a place for me. Nebraska is a special place, and I know I deserve to be here. And my teammates and people around me are all special as well. So I feel like Nebraska is going to be, the team everybody wants to beat this year. And I just really believed in that, believed in him, believed in my teammates as well. And that led to me coming back here. But it's just a special place, and I love it a lot, and God ultimately led to that decision.
And with the receivers you guys have added, what kind of potential do you see there with some of those weapons that you've brought in to go with this offense?
Yes, sir. Dane and Isaiah, a couple of those transfer guys coming in have been really special. Dane's kind of like an older guy who's able to help out the younger guys, especially Cortez, some of the younger receivers too. We got a lot of talent in that room, so, I expect us to put up a lot of points, be explosive. But I would just say in the offseason, I've seen the receiver group grow in terms of, like, the leadership part of it, bringing other guys along with them, and that's been big for us is finishing. So I'm really excited for that group going into this spring and the fall.
In your group, there's a lot of, besides you, there's a lot of unknowns. What should we know about the guys behind you?
You should know that we got, Coach E.J. Barthel, and we have a lot of running backs that can do a lot of different things. Versatile group overall. A lot of younger guys that are, coming out of high school but can do both. A lot of older guys, Quinnen's the junior now, Makai Nelson, Kenneth, a lot of speed in the room. So that's what you're going to see out there is a great group of guys that are versatile and is willing to do whatever for the team to win.
Now that you're one of the more veteran guys in the room, what lessons do you take from Ramir as you move forward?
Yeah, like I said, but Ramir is my brother, man. Just being the veteran is huge for me and my development as well. I feel like I've been a lot of a vocal leader this offseason. Just being able to help the younger guys. I was once a younger guy myself. Seems crazy saying that now, but just being able to help those guys and give them the advice that they need and being able to help them to be able to play on Saturdays because, I'm going to go out there and be the best version of me, but I'm not doing my job if I'm not setting them up to go play on Saturdays as well.
How is your relationship?
More of a weapon. How much is that something that Dana pushed onto you to become, and what kind of things were you working on to help achieve that during the offseason?
To be a weapon? I would say I always wanted to be a weapon, but this is just a perfect chance for me to do that in his offense, and so he's just putting me in a great position to do that and show myself. So.
Offseason did you do sort of work on that?
Yes, sir. A lot of route running practice. I got 8 pounds of muscle on me now, so I'm able to be a lot stronger, stiff arms, little things like that. Just improving my game overall, being a pass catcher, being able to run through people, all that little stuff like that, and pass pro as well.
You've been around Dylan as much as anybody this offseason. Have you seen him grow as a leader and just kind of what he's doing to help move this team forward?
Yeah, Dylan's, he's growing up really quick. He's learned a lot from last season. Me and him are together almost every day, so we got a great bond. But he's seen, what it takes to play in the Big Ten now, and he's definitely took that step of a leadership role as well, being quarterback. You see him out there in all of our workouts. You know, he's leading, he's helping other guys out. So that's going to be huge. And then our chemistry, as far as that off the field, our chemistry's been well off the field, and it's going to be well on the field as well.
How much value do you think that can have? I mean, it's tough to be a true freshman and have to lead the team on the field the way that he did. How much value is there in him having that year under his belt?
There's a lot of value in him having that year under his belt because now he knows what it looks like. He knows what it takes, and he can also teach the other guys, you know, that are behind him. And I would say the game is just slowing down for a lot of us now. Me and Dylan were just talking about it. The game just becoming a lot more simple for both of us. So.
With the injuries up front and with the offensive line during the spring, is there anything you can do as a running back to sort of help those younger guys? I mean, obviously not technique-wise, but in terms of just what you see from
as far as the O-line? Yeah, and I'll say Justin, you know, Evans, Rocco, a lot of those older guys have been helping them out too. They have a great bond in the O-line room, and so I would say I help them out as well too, but they have a great bond, so you know, I have no doubt that those guys are going to be helping them out, and I'm going to do my job as well, helping them out with anything I can.
Emmett, I know it's just a couple practices in, but does it feel any different given some of the staff changes and some of the players that were added over the offseason?
A little bit, but at the end of the day, it's just football. We're all out there playing the game that we love, and the game we played ever since we was a little kid. So it's not much different. We're playing football, adapting to different offenses, and dang, I don't know what that was. All right, adapting to different, you know, offense, and it's just football at the end of the day. So it's not much different. We're all farther along than we were in the past, I would say, because we got a lot of guys who've seen what it takes, and we can all lead now and help each other out.
You know, it's been a longer process for you, right? Being a red shirt and then being in a reserve role, injuries happen. You know, come on, you're expected to play. Last year, you know, kind of dual back role. Now it's your room essentially. You're the running back. Through that process, I'm sure you wanted to burst onto the scene your freshman year. You wanted to play right away, but you know, during this kind of longer process, get to where you are. What do you think is one key thing or key things that you took along that way that really resonated with you?
I would say two things. I would say my faith and my confidence. Those two things have gotten me through, you know, every obstacle that has been thrown at me. And I haven't really took failure as just failure. I've took it as just like a lesson, and I've really learned from it and grew. And so now I know you say now I'm like in the lead role or anything, but I'm still hungry. I'm still trying to prove myself and be the best running back. I'm not going to be satisfied at all. I never will be satisfied. And I think that's due to my adversity I've been through in my life and my trust in God. I just know that I have to go out there every day and prove myself. Appreciate y'all. Well, Bobby.
Coach Addison been like as you've gotten to know him early on here?
I love Coach Addison. I think everybody in our room would agree on that. He's a very not only smart coach, but very passionate about what he does. You know, I feel like I've learned so many things since, like, between the winter and up until now, past 2 days of practice we've had with him. I couldn't be more excited to be able to pick his brain for these next few months that we have together and, you know, make myself a better player myself. And I know he's going to skyrocket this room that we have as well.
You describe that room and just how deep it is with guys, older guys, younger guys, new guys?
No, our room is huge. And honestly, talent-wise, we couldn't ask for a better group of guys that we have in that room. The older guys have been big on trying to, you know, help bring our younger guys up. And honestly, just make sure that they know the plays is the biggest thing. Making sure that they know what to do so that they can use the great athleticism and they're great talent to be able to play 100% full speed on the field when they get in.
Marquise, do you guys, not so much you, but do you feel that there is urgency or a different kind of pressure that exists within a room like yours where there are so many players, and everybody here knows that there can only be 105 come the first game?
I mean, honestly, we haven't really been, that really hasn't been a very vocal part of our, like, we haven't just been talking about, like, people have to go because, like, we know that already. I feel like more so than anything, everybody's just coming in and working their butts off every day to, you know, prove that they belong here and prove that they should be on this team. Every guy in our room, I feel like, has the potential to be on this team in the fall. And I actually mean that, you know, from a player standpoint and from, like, just a friend standpoint, you know. Everybody's working hard. And honestly, you know, that sucks, you know, that we can't bring everybody with us. But at the end of the day, that's just where the game of college football is going today. And, you know, we just have to accept that. But on a day-to-day basis, I feel like these guys are coming in and working their tails off.
What's your brother ready to do this year?
Hopefully he's ready to play. You know, I've been on his tail a lot this offseason, you know, just making sure, like, all the small stuff, you can't do the same stuff you did your freshman year, really has been the most, you know, vocal part of what I've been saying to him. Like, you got to make new mistakes. You can't make the same old mistakes. So, you know, he's been doing well, though, so I'm excited.
How have you seen him grow since he got here?
Honestly, just his maturity. You know, I've been living with him since forever at this point. So I've kind of had a long time to see him grow in maturity. But, you know, the little stint I had when I was here and he was in high school, it's like day and night, the person he is. And honestly, as an older brother, it makes me proud to see. It makes me feel like I'm doing something right.
With the coordinator change, I mean, how much change could we see? I know with the offense, kind of a similar deal. Dana Holgorsen took over late last year. Now he's fully in charge. Could you see that with John Butler? You think he's going to make a lot of tinkers and changes to maybe what you guys do on defense?
I think Coach Butler has come in with what he thinks will work for us the most. I don't think it's necessarily been like, we haven't really been, the old stuff was out the window when Coach Butler became our coordinator. So I think everything Coach Butler has given to us, like, as far as, like, coverages and defensive scheme-wise, I feel like it's great. And I feel like he's a brilliant coach. Nobody in the country probably studies football more than that man and knows football more than him. And it's really impressive to see it, like, if you sit down and have a deep conversation with him. So, yeah, I'm fully confident in everything that Coach Butler's bringing to the table, and I'm excited to see how it runs.
The benefit is it that a lot of you guys have worked with him closely already and can bring that to the rest of the defensive guys this year with him now as the coordinator?
I mean, obviously, him not just coming in freshly means a lot. You know, we already had that relationship for a year, whole season with each other. But, you know, he's a very vocal guy, you know. He's always, during practice, these past 2 days at least, he's all around the field. He's in everybody's face. He's in everybody's meeting room. So, you know, I think he has it under control, getting the whole defense to, you know, really feel the love from him. And everybody has the chance to, you know, actually build that close relationship with him.
Hey, Marquise, is it safety or corner? Where do you think you'll be doing work this spring?
So far, I've been playing safety, but obviously I'm good wherever they put me at. I feel like this is a team game. You know, you have to play where the team needs you, and that's why I pride myself on working so hard on the field, but also, like, off the field, watching film, you know, going back to last year's film, watching games, like tape of myself from last year, just trying to nitpick every little thing that I did last year to, you know, make myself just a little bit much better.
And to have two guys in your room who are coming back and maybe weren't expected to in Javen Wright and Deshaun Singleton to go out there and practice with those guys right now, as old and experienced as they are. Can you speak to that?
Oh man, Deshaun will tell you firsthand. I was on his butt when he was talking about leaving and going to the league. But you know, I'm just grateful that they came back. It's not a lot of times you get to play with guys that you built such a great relationship with, especially like those two. They had the opportunity to leave, and you know they came back. So for them, it's really just, or for me, it's just like we can't let this go out the window in a bad way. You know, we have to finish with a bang together. Like none of us came back for no reason, and you know that's how we've kind of been carrying ourselves lately.
What's your early read on these the new look wide receivers and how they can build you guys up too, going against them all spring?
Our receiver room is elite, to say like the least about those guys. You know, a lot of speed, great size. It's kind of a lot of variety in that room. And, you know, we say iron sharpens iron around here. And these past 2 days of practice have been nothing but that, you know, constant back and forth between us and the receivers. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's not going to do anything but make both sides of the ball that much better. So I'm excited to see the rest of spring ball against these guys with our guys. It's been very competitive, and, you know, it's fun.
What was your level of satisfaction with the play of the defense last year, and then the secondary in particular?
Dissatisfied, not up to. I feel like if you ask any guy that played on that defense last year, nobody's going to be happy with like the outcome of anything because we didn't win every game and team scored points. And the way we carried ourselves, that I hate speaking about last year, but you know, those guys on that team had a lot of pride in what they did, and it was a lot of work and hours throughout the week that went into like prepping for games on Saturday. That, you know, when you lose after doing that for so long, it's almost like a letdown, obviously. So all we're focused on now is cleaning up any mistakes that we made last year. So like I said with my brother, we can't make the same mistakes we did last year. And we have to be a whole new defense than we were last year as well because we have new personnel. So just trying to figure out how to adjust our defense with the talent that we have now is probably the biggest thing for us.
Jones turned a lot of heads at the bowl game. What have you seen from him so far this offseason into the spring, and how has he kind of carried that momentum with him?
Donnie's great. You know, he's another kid that, you know, he can play probably anywhere on the field. He has the athletic ability to do whatever. So for Donnie, it's really just keeping his head down and continuing to work, you know. He had a great end of the year last year, so just using that momentum to carry over into this spring, and then using that momentum carry on into the fall, and then hopefully into the season.
Over the course of your career and for years, spring ball has always culminated in the red-white scrimmage, which isn't going to happen this year. Instead, it's Husker games. What was the players' reaction to learning that you're going to do something different for the final day of the spring season?
Well, honestly, I haven't really thought anything about it. You know, I've seen a couple things on like Instagram and stuff like that, but that's not really been like any other player's main focus or anything like that. Obviously, we want the fans to have that, you know, that time before the season to come together and, you know, cheer us on and stuff like that. That's always great. But right now, I just think our focus is mainly on creating the best team that we can create, and not even just that, having the best culture that we can possibly have right now.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
mean, I really just, I'm really grateful for the people here, the staff under Rhule, just, letting me take advantage and them wanting to also just help me to do what I want and accomplish my dream of going to the NFL. And so far, we've been on the right path, I think.
So where will you train, and what's your schedule look like between now and the draft?
Yeah, so I was down back home in Scottsdale, Arizona. I was training at Exos down there. I was also a great group of people. They were professional. They were awesome to come in and work hard.